Buenos Aires. In just my first couple of days in the city, I saw an opera for less than the price of a cup of coffee, shopped at the world's most beautiful bookstore, accumulated stacks of cash, ate amazing empanadas, and fell in love with the area's immense beauty. So, I've made it to Buenos Aires. I'm on my trip, I'm on my vacation, and I'm really having a fantastic time. This city has so far just blown me away. I've been here a couple days now, and Buenos Aires has exceeded all of my expectations. But my trip sure as hell had a pretty bad start. You see, I had an 11 p.m. direct flight from JFK to Buenos Aires. All was looking good. I get to the airport, check in, drop off my bag, and I get in the security line, and just a couple minutes while I'm in line, I see that I have a message from American Airlines saying that my flight has been delayed 10 hours. Which from that point, it meant that it was about 13 hours in the future, and I wasn't gonna stay at the airport for that long. I talked to an American Airlines employee after a very long wait. They got me a cab ride home, which took very, very long. And when I got home, I couldn't sleep at all because I had to wake up in 4.5 hours to go to the airport again. Thankfully, that flight wasn't delayed, but you know, travel just sucks sometimes. It's not the first time something like that's happened, and it sure as hell won't be the last. It was, however, a very long flight. It was very uncomfortable. I thought I could sleep on the plane. I didn't. I just couldn't, even though I tried. It just didn't work out. Anyways, I finally made it to Buenos Aires. I got a cab from the airport to my hotel. I checked in at like 10:40 p.m. and I was pretty hungry, so I just ran to the nearest McDonald's, got some quick food, and then came back and went to bed. Yeah, I know, you come from America and go straight to a McDonald's, what the hell? At that point, I just didn't care at all. But it was a pretty good McDonald's, and I gotta say, McDonald's seems so much better outside the United States than in the United States. Yeah, I enjoyed my food. But when I was walking back to my hotel, I got kind of a second wind. Seeing all the architecture, all these new sights, the fact that I was in a new country, a new city, a new continent, that just excited the hell out of me, and I was really happy at that point. I mean, Buenos Aires looks so insanely beautiful. So when I got back to my hotel, even though I pretty much had no sleep, I couldn't fall asleep. I was just too excited. I must have been laying in my bed for maybe 3 hours until I finally got to sleep. So when I woke up the next day, I wasn't exactly fresh, but I was much better than I was. The first thing I had to do was get money, and that's kind of an interesting thing here in Argentina. You see, there are two exchange rates. One rate is set by the government, and the other is more of an international one. I wanted the international one because one's dollar goes much, much further with that one. To do that, I had to transfer money to myself using Western Union. Thankfully, it's a pretty easy process, and there's a Western Union literally right across the street from my hotel. So I show up there, I wait in line maybe 10-15 minutes, wasn't bad, and I get my money, and wow, one's dollar really goes far here. So this is what 300 US dollars get you in Argentinian pesos, and yeah, it doesn't quite fit in my wallet. In New York City, money's a struggle for me, but here, walking around with stacks of cash, I was feeling pretty good about myself. And with that out of the way came my other priority, and that was getting coffee. I went to Starbucks. I know, another American place, what the hell? But that was literally the nearest place with caffeine, and that's what really mattered to me at that point. To eat, I at least got an item that's not available in America, a croissant con crema de avellana. Basically, it's a croissant with a hazelnut spread. That was a solid croissant. Good breakfast. To drink, I kept it simple with a grande Americano. That was a solid breakfast, but now that I have cash and I'm caffeinated, it is finally time to do some proper exploring of Buenos Aires. I literally walked 1 block away from Starbucks, and I'm just looking at this architecture and I'm blown away. It is simply stunning. It is so beautiful. I mean, it's European, but it's got a character all its own. I mean, this is absolutely unbelievably gorgeous. This building here is unreal. I mean, wow. I think this one does tours. I'll have to check that out later. I eventually made my way to Plaza del Congreso, a very large and beautiful park. Plaza del Congreso was certainly another gorgeous part of the city, but I couldn't linger too long since I did have a ticket to the opera that evening. I just discovered this massive tree here at Plaza del Congreso. It is immense. This is some Harry Potter type stuff. It just goes on and on. This has got to be like 1,000,000 years old. It's ridiculous. I've really been enjoying exploring this park. All the architecture around here is stunning. I can't say it enough. This is so beautiful. I am loving Buenos Aires so far, and I'm so happy to be here. But now, even though it feels like I just had breakfast, I really should be getting lunch since I do have the opera tonight, and I want to go and have an early dinner before the opera. I should go eat. La Americana is a Buenos Aires staple, having opened all the way back in 1935. There are two areas in the restaurant. One is a dining room with tables served by waiters, and the other is a standing section where one can order pizza by the slice and empanadas. Since I had a schedule to keep, I couldn't linger, so I ate some empanadas in the standing area. I got two kinds and both were delicious. One pair was filled with beef and even had olives in it, while the other two contained ham and cheese. It was an enjoyable lunch, although I do have to say that the establishment's napkins kind of suck since they were more akin to wax paper. Those empanadas just hit the spot. They were so good, so satisfying. Great first empanadas in Argentina. And now I'm gonna head up to one of the most famous spots of the city, Plaza Mayo. I think that's how you say it. It's spelled M-A-Y-O. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I do kind of want mayonnaise. I have finally made it to the gorgeous Plaza Mayo. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not sure on that one, but yeah, in this one area, there's so much eye candy. There's so many just gorgeous buildings and sites. I definitely said it wrong, as Argentinians pronounce it as Plaza de Mayo. It has long served as the main city square and foundational site of Buenos Aires. One of the notable landmarks of the area is Casa Rosada, which is the presidential palace that contains the famous balcony where Eva Perón used to appear. It did take me quite a while to get here, not because it was a long walk, because it really wasn't. It was just that there are so many things and sites and buildings and like little details that just captured my interest along the way. That's just one of the magical things about traveling to someplace new. Everything just seems so fresh and exciting, and I'm taking a hell of a lot of pictures because of it. Anyways, I gotta keep this day moving, so that means I need to get caffeinated again, and then after that, I'm gonna go to what might just very well be the most beautiful bookstore in the entire world. Unfortunately, I didn't get to the bookstore that day. I realized I couldn't remember the name of it, and I didn't have any maps of where it actually was. Because I had a schedule to keep that day, I thought, you know what, I'll save the bookstore for another day. And I actually went there yesterday, and wow, that was amazing. Simply put, the El Ateneo Grand Splendid is a book lover's dream. The stunning building opened in 1919 as a performing arts theater, then it converted into a cinema, and now it's one of the world's most beautiful bookstores. I was in awe of my surroundings. While everything offered was pretty much in Spanish, the Grand Splendid is worthy of a pilgrimage for any reader. It's simply a must-see. So back to my first full day in Buenos Aires. After I realized I didn't know where the bookstore was, I went and got a lovely espresso at a coffee shop called Posta. The espresso hit the spot, and I also did a little reading. It was a good break. After that, I checked out one of the most notable landmarks of Argentina, the Obelisco, and what is regarded as the widest street in the entire world. The massive Avenida 9 de Julio has 16 lanes of traffic plus gorgeous landscape medians. It's truly a sight to behold. This street is on such an immense and epic scale. Crossing it is quite a trip. Now, because I have the opera tonight, I'm gonna have my early dinner, so I'm gonna go to an Argentinian chain fast food restaurant. I believe it's the second largest fast food restaurant chain in the country, only behind McDonald's. So with that being said, let's go to dinner. I went to Mostaza. It was established in 1998 and is indeed the second largest fast food chain in the country behind McDonald's. I got a combo meal of a smoked barbecue chicken sandwich with bacon and cheese along with a side of fries. The sandwich was okay. Now, I don't expect too much from a fast food chain, but I have to say that I've had similar chicken sandwiches from McDonald's, Burger King, and the like, which I enjoyed a bit more. The fries were alright too. Even though it was just an okay meal, it was a good experience. After that okay dinner, I went back to my hotel room, changed, and got ready for the opera. Time to go to the opera. I made my way to the historic Teatro Colón. Tours of the building are one of the top attractions of the city, but I wondered if I'd be able to see a performance during my stay. I was able to get a ticket for Einstein on the Beach for 1,200 pesos, which equated to only $2.71. I just couldn't believe that I was gonna see an opera for that little. Granted, my seat was terrible and I had to really lean over to see anything, but it was so worth it. So, I just got back from the opera. Now, I'm not gonna pretend like I understood that, because I didn't. But I can appreciate the spectacle, and that was quite the spectacle. That was a fantastic experience, but a very uncomfortable one. I mean, my seats weren't very good. At the same time, how the hell can I complain when I literally paid $2.71, less than the price of a cup of coffee in NYC? It was also a lot less than doing one of the Teatro Colón tours, which I'll still probably do, but I mean, if you go to an opera house, you gotta see an opera. Anyways, that will do it for me today. This has been one hell of an adventure so far, and I can't wait to see what tomorrow has in store.